SBN, Sports Business Now. SBN is a division of Row 27, the digital sports marketing company, celebrating 5 years of creating TV spots, intro videos, and microsites for over 150 teams. See our work at row27.com. And by FanMaker, digital marketing tools for sports teams, featuring FanMaker Rewards, the most comprehensive and popular fan loyalty and reward system. Learn more about our apps at fanmaker.com. SBN Live.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to SBN Live, episode 28. My name is Max Huber, joined here by co-founders of Row 27, Jason Cole and Jonathan Dusing. Guys, how are we doing today?
Good.
Sports fans, I feel like we're in an arena right now.
Hey, sports fans, how we doing?
Attention fans, available at Gate 4 is fresh popcorn.
Got to put my own little touch on it, you know?
Yeah, it's nice.
Perfect. Well, we're going to hop right in. SBN Live, this is where sports marketing and technology meet. My background is the sport, so I'm going to start off with that. News story with the Toronto Raptors, with management considering a name change for the team. They've been the Raptors since 1993, based loosely on Jurassic Park, which came out the same year. Kind of a silly name, especially for a team from Canada, but is it the right move knowing that there are so many silly team names out there and they've kind of had this brand recognition for 20 years now? Jason.
I love this. I love this new format.
You're on.
No, yes. Yeah, it is. It was the wrong move to ever name them the Raptors, to be 100% honest with you. To be based on a blockbuster movie, it's not a timeless name. It's something that
it's the name of a dinosaur. It's not just from the movie.
Okay, do we have the T-Rexes in pro sports? I mean, normally
that would
related
actually work.
Somewhat.
Yeah, everyone knows what a T-Rex is.
Not in basketball. Your arms are too short.
Oh, okay.
That's a really bad joke.
So, what do they have? What's the backup plan?
They don't have one. They're not.
They just know they want to try something else.
They're thinking about trying something else. They haven't said if they are, but I just wanted to see what you guys thought.
Yeah.
As you know, in terms
What
of
do you
if
think,
they actually.
Max?
I think, like you mentioned, it was a silly name in the first place. I did see a website that would base team names based on the most popular film from that year, and a lot of them were absolutely ridiculous. Just, you take the movie.
The Gremlins.
But yeah, you find a team that was founded in that
hope.
year, and they give it that team name. It doesn't make sense, really. I'd rather them be like the Canadians or something, but you've got that in hockey. I don't know. I just wanted to see what everybody thought on it.
They could be like Moose or.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's lots of Canadian-only animals, or Canadian-mostly animals, I suppose. Mountaineers.
Mountaineers. The Mounties.
Mounties, yeah.
I think it's perfect.
It could be fun.
Could be fun. But, I mean, they're looking at possibly doing it. We don't know yet.
They could just change the logo from being a dinosaur to being a bird of prey and keep the name.
That'd be kind of cool.
Be a little bit more timeless and current.
A dinosaur wearing basketball jersey and shorts dribbling a basketball is a little odd. So,
But they sneak up on you from the sides.
yes.
Clever
I
girl.
was wondering which one of us would finally do that.
I'll do it. Moving on, the Oregon Ducks may go bigger time in apparel, cutting out smaller players. They may set a stipulation in place that merchandisers or licensees must guarantee the university at least $500,000 a year in royalties, which would mean a minimum of $5 million in wholesale sales to the retailers. They're not the first university that has put this in place, such as Oklahoma, Texas, USC, Ohio State. They've done this. But, this could mean the demise of some of the smaller apparel groups out there with Oregon. What do you guys think about this?
Or more likely, like some of the more oddball things, like knickknacks and that obviously don't sell the kind of volume. I mean, we're talking like T-shirts, like the major players will all probably get enough volume out there. But because usually how apparel, at least like logo usage in apparel, goes for college is it all goes through the central licensing, and almost anybody who's anybody can get the ability to legally use a logo.
Yeah, but they're just looking
on
for this on
something.
apparel, so it would just be T-shirts like that knick-knack stuff.
Oh, he's okay.
would be
Well, I guess it's just apparel. Sorry,
would be a little bit different. I think it's time. I mean, Oregon's become a national brand. Their recognition is so large, and they've really endeavored and have the money and have the teams at this point in time and the facilities to be on the level of an Oklahoma or a Texas, and that's what they're going for. And this probably just helps the management structure streamline approvals.
Well, it's probably going to increase prices of some of the stuff, although you'll still have like your Targets and your Walmarts that'll obviously be able to get the volume through to maintain. I mean, maybe are they doing it a little bit maybe to keep the quality up too or something so that it's only big players, making
I
making
imagine
the
you're going to go from hundreds of people that you have to review on an annual basis to maybe a few dozen.
Well, the reviewing, that's true.
So
well, they're
it's gonna help
very
streamline the
strict about their
process.
brand guidelines as well, so it's possible that there's way too much stuff going on that's not really maybe getting caught. That's then they see showing up at the stadium and they're not happy about it,
And then looking at the story, 2/3 of the royalties are already coming from Nike anyway. So I mean, obviously Nike's going to be the biggest player in the market for Oregon. So
if you want to get the real official dope stuff,
Right.
you're getting dope. Wow, say that out loud. You're getting the Nike stuff.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, it's gonna some of the stuff that maybe is a little knockoff. It's a little cheaper made. It's going to make. I think it's going to make their stuff a little more. It's going to make it better, just in the long run, a little more. And I couldn't think of the word.
Yeah, it'll be interesting
more.
to see if it obviously their revenues probably won't decrease, but will they appreciate the same kind of growth that other teams are getting or not getting? I don't know. But, it'd be interesting. I'm sure they've run the numbers to see how this is really going to pan out.
I know I've never bought any Oregon stuff that wasn't Nike.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for Pintons to send us all sorts of Oregon stuff that I can wear and rep on
Don't
the
hold
show.
your breath.
I know.
Sure.
I know. All right, we're going to move on. I think Jason is next. He's got some interesting topics for us to chat about.
It's a major break in the steroid scandals that have been with Major League Baseball for years. Biogenesis was basically an anti-aging firm in South Florida that had a disgruntled employee leak a bunch of documents to the local newspaper. And they had 20 MLB players as clients under fake pseudonyms. They're able to track back that they're subscribing to testosterone, human growth hormone, and all these things too. There's only one person where the listed drugs were actually like B12 vitamins and legal stuff. Needless to say, they're under pseudonyms. They don't have anyone that'll prosecute. MLB hasn't been able to do anything about it. But the founder cut a deal to cooperate with Major League Baseball and go testify against all of his former clients yesterday. So it's kind of the first time I think that's happening. I know Victor Conte didn't go and testify against Barry Bonds at any point in time. And this is going to be some very interesting news for Ryan Braun, who previously had a positive test, and obviously Alex Rodriguez, who has been clouded even though he's never been punished before.
So is this going to be another big resurfacing and we're all going to have to go through the steroid thing again? Is that what you're saying? Or
It'll be like that, only I don't really see it going to court because the guy that was injecting people is the one that's telling him what he did.
Yeah.
Which, it's probably going to be a few people's worst nightmare. It'll be kind of interesting how it breaks out. A lot of the players are going to face 50 or 100 game suspensions under the new deal that they cut. So it's, 2/3 of a season gone.
If you're A-Rod, don't you just retire? I mean, you're getting to that point in your career. If he gets handed down a 100-game suspension,
if he retires, he doesn't get paid out the $100 million.
True.
If he gets
possibly
suspended,
if he gets suspended, he's got the same problem.
If he gets suspended, he misses like $15 million in payment for the time that he's suspended.
Okay, so
it's like him giving up $85 million to not sully his reputation any further.
Well, he'll do the math and figure it out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
it's just, I think MLB is just really trying to crack down. They want to get rid of the BS that's involved. They want to make it as clean a sport as possible because there's already so many things around it.
And you can
hopefully
tell,
we're kind of past the era, and this is maybe one of the last big
probably one of the
things
last hurrahs. I mean, you can really, I think, if you look at the average stat lines of players, you can tell it's been effective, the testing, because you see peak years coming out of people who are 26 and 27 instead of 32 and 33 now.
Yeah.
And that's probably a testament to everything they've done to make the sport clean.
Okay.
Cool. The other article is from the New York Times. It was really awesome to find something about our industry basically written up in New York Times Magazine. And it starts off basically talking about the science behind scalping tickets. And they go through and interview a number of scalpers, the CEO of Ticketmaster, and really talk about how much money is being left on the table by certain acts and how there really isn't any other industry besides sports or concerts where people have such a dissonance in between what the market value might be for a ticket and how much it's actually being charged. So going through, there's a few different strategies that were in place. They talked about Tom Petty, who always has low-price tickets that are being scalped for 10 times value because he wants to have a loyal fan base and they control all the concessionaires then inside.
Yeah.
And then someone like Kid
But then
Rock.
does he really have the loyal fan base when they're scalping their tickets to other people anyways.
Very true.
I mean, that's always the argument with scalping. It's
Absolutely.
like if somebody's going to do it, why not do it yourself?
The problem I've run into is groups that go and just scoop up, and you hear about this, where groups will go in and they scoop up 95% of the tickets. Like this happened with Miley Cyrus.
Oh, I thought you were saying you went to the...
No. But there was online.
Well, that
bots
was a real mess up.
Yeah,
though.
Yeah.
But they'll do that, and then you see people out there, and you see guys. Like, I'll go to some of the games here in town, and there's guys with stacks of tickets like this, and they're just selling them all off, and it's just, I mean, their whole well-being, they put so much money into that.
Well, I mean, it's a cottage industry because things are being mispriced to a degree. And Ticketmaster has so much data at this point in time, as does Pacula, as does other ticketing companies, that they really can look at a ticket and be very, very close with all the third-party data of other companies to control now to knowing what it will go for.
To offer the right price in the first place.
So the most unique thing I saw inside this entire article, and you've seen sports teams do this with things like a Champions Club and stuff like that, was Kid Rock, who's charging like up the 1,000 best seats to his shows this year. He's charging $700,000, $800,000. So his overall profit from the concert is going to be a little bit higher than it was before. And then he's dropping the prices of all the other seats in the house.
Oh, okay.
Because the scalpers are going to want,
they just want the good stuff.
The good stuff. They don't really care.
You don't go to a scalper to get a bad seat.
No, you don't.
I try to, and then they say that, I've only got a $100 ticket when I just want to get in the door. So, yeah, they try to sell the prime, like you guys mentioned.
Yeah. But, no scalper wants to buy all the upper bowl inventory.
No.
So that was kind of an interesting approach that they were mentioning in the article. What do you think, John? I mean, what do you think the ideal way of approaching that is, of sort of the four things I threw out?
I don't know. I mean, people complain about high ticket prices and stuff all the time when people do. It's usually concerts that get priced correctly in the first place.
I'm happy you brought that up. One of the references in here was Barbra Streisand, who was charging $1,000 a ticket in Rome and then canceled the concert because of backlash. So it's exactly what you're talking about.
It's almost like, so the even though most of the tickets are going to go for a lot more in the secondary, like, it's almost like you get in trouble for asking for it in the first place.
Yeah.
But Prince just had that concert series like last weekend here, and it was like $280 a ticket, and he's playing in like the suburbs of Minneapolis.
Going to the Myth, over on the east side of town.
A great club,
but it didn't
it's like
sell.
2 hours out of town.
It didn't even get close to selling out, and they were running ads like 24/7 giving away tickets. You'd think it was like I don't know, a Miley Cyrus concert now. Like they're just giving that stuff away. Not the tickets, but the the advertising and stuff. It's just ridiculous. But and I think they felt they were worth that. And maybe if they sold them for $10, they would all got scalped for $200. So
probably.
Yeah. I think the only real solution is probably to be running your own secondary market, and do it, capturing it that way. So you sell the tickets for what they're worth in a low amount or whatever, and then
sell them again
are there to capture some revenue for what they're really worth. Yeah. But I know a lot of teams are reluctant to do that and end up looking like scalpers, and works really well when you're popular, and it makes you look like a jerk when you're not. So it's hard to figure it out.
Just win. Some great insight from these guys.
Right.
Let's move on to kind of the tech side here.
Sure.
With John.
So hopefully you guys are familiar with Twitter's Vine, which is the 6-second cool little app that they've got. So it lets you post 6-second videos, kind of in the vein of the whole Twitter idea of having short snippets of information, like the 140 characters. So Vine has really taken off. It's been iPhone only up until a few days ago. It was released on Android as well. And since this is owned by Twitter, it's integrated really well into the Twitter app, as in, like, when somebody tweets a Vine video, you can play it right in the timeline. They're kind of taking off because anybody can put together 6 seconds of interesting information or interesting content, it seems, or uninteresting content. There's a little bit of backlash of all the Android users that just got on, like, posting their first Vines, of course, sucking. Because it takes
all us Android users are just dunces.
Right, but more like it takes a little effort or a little experience to start making good 6-second videos. But we see this with Snapchat and those are the kind of the bigger ones, but there's a bunch of little ones too. There's a bunch of foreign ones that have a lot of views too. There seems to be a real uptick. I think Vine has figured out video. Like the Instagram for video. I think I think they got it figured out. There's a lot of people using it, and we're starting to see brands on it. We've talked about this a few weeks ago. About how some brands are getting on Vine because you can now tag people in the videos, and so there's some cross-linking and stuff that works really well. So, one last thing on that. Twitter did announce that there was 13 million active users on Vine on the iOS version only. So
nice.
That and iOS, this is a small percentage of all mobile phones. So I think we'll see some really big numbers in the next month or two out of Vine.
Not being a Vine user, having an Android phone, I'm excited about it just because Jason was, when it first came out, was always showing us this stuff and talking about how cool it is. And I think it's a great tool to, for sports teams even, they can, and we've talked about this before, how they can utilize it, but just as anyone in general. And so I'm excited to have it for an Android phone and test it out and hopefully get better and skilled at making some pleasant.
Just remember, when you make it, it's not 6 seconds solid with your thumb. You'll learn.
Well, you can make a 6-second video. You can make what you usually do is just do extra separate little scenes by touching the camera.
You guys are like blowing my mind. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, you got to try it if not. And if you're in the business, obviously, you really got to download it and give it a shot and see that it might be a fun way to get some videos out there. We can't all produce 5-minute interviews on YouTube 3 times a day, but you can definitely get some interesting behind-the-scenes videos out there through Vine, and they play really well on your Twitter feed, and they play pretty well on Facebook. Facebook's played nice with it so far. I would not be surprised to see Facebook put together something similar, since they've copied so many other features that other people have. So.
Yeah, I'm sure Facebook.
I think the idea
has been hugely successful.
I think people should get used to the idea of sub 10-second video services taking off. There's going to be a couple of them, but I think you should get the mind going on what kind of little short videos you can make that would be cool for your fans.
Having not been a user of Vine yet, is 6 seconds enough?
Yes, kind of.
Well, not for,
I've seen like entire skits
things,
that are pretty funny, and I mean, you can do some pretty neat stuff with it.
The biggest thing, if you want to get views or have a new user come in and see what you're doing, is to not have them feel like they're going to throw away 5 minutes of their life.
Yeah.
So having 6 seconds or a 10-second video, which I think Snapchat and a couple other the foreign services you mentioned use.
A little longer. Yeah.
But that's the reason it's there, is because it actually makes it scrollable content. You can see 7 or 8 things in your feed and then be done with it, and spend a minute on your phone as opposed to 30.
Or more likely, you see it in your Twitter feed and you see the Vine logo and you're like, oh, I'll watch this because I know I'm not committing to anything. And then from the brand perspective, it's like, I don't have to have any production value to this. It's just 6 seconds. So I've seen people do Q&A where you do like, tweet in questions and then answer them really quick in the 6 seconds. Just the vein,
that would be a fun show.
Meat of the question. Yeah.
Fun show. Just go back and forth. Only have 6 seconds to ask them. 6 seconds.
6 seconds actually, it's a lot longer than you think. All right. Anyways, it's something definitely to watch and be a part of. And lastly, I'm going to start a new little section called, I don't know, it's kind of out there marketing ideas, things from outside of sports that may or may not be an interesting marketing idea or revenue generation idea. So if this was like the news at 5, I would say wiping your ass and generating revenue. What for a sports team? Wow. News at 11. All right. So anyways, that's the teaser. I probably should tease it.
Are we playing the video? Because that'd be incredible.
No, it's okay. So this is kind of interesting. The Dollar Shave Club, which is fairly popular, and basically it's a subscription service where you get a box of shaving equipment each month. They're recently in the news because they added a new product called One Wipe Charlie's, which is pretty funny. But anyways, the whole point of what I wanted to bring up is there are lots and lots of these subscription-based boxes that come to you, services. There's great ones for kids. I actually subscribe to one for my kids that has different activities. So once a month we get a couple of activities in the box. The idea is to make them pretty cheap, maybe $10, maybe $15 a month on the high end. But you kind of subscribe to these things and you get neat little things. There's one for women. There's Fancy. Fancy.com is a cool site. Fab has one, I think, now too. Birchbox. And they'll just kind of send you cool things. So it got me thinking, this might be a cool revenue idea. Most teams have tons of different merchandise, and you could package together a few different items in maybe quarterly, maybe not monthly, shipments and a couple of wacky things in there maybe that are exclusive, and get kind of subscription service going. And the best thing about subscription is you're going to get way more revenue this way than relying on people to come into your store and buy stuff. The same person to buy the same, they wouldn't buy the same things, you know what I mean, throughout a year. But if you got them on a subscription, they'll forget they've got a subscription. It's
and you know what your order size is going to be. Like if you're doing a T-shirt a month,
that's basically what you do.
Like
you put in your information,
I'm ordering 1,500
your order
of them.
sizes, maybe like an idea of what kind of things you like, and then and then they put together the boxes and send them out to you.
So you don't have to carry inventory that way, which is for any team store or anything like that a huge help. My favorite one that you didn't mention is BarkBox.
Oh yeah, with
which is
dog
absolutely
stuff.
awesome. Yeah,
it's really funny because these things started with the cheese of the month and beer of the month or whatever,
which
forever ago.
I
and
know.
Somehow they never made that leap into like what it should really be, which is box of kind of random things that are all associated, which is great. I think everybody likes it. It feels like a gift every month, and if you keep the subscription level price down.
If you're able to be sub $20 on a sports team, you're easily going to have a few thousand subscribers, and you're looking at $250,000 of revenue a year. On that, you can easily have a solid margin.
Exactly. I think it's an idea that would work.
The problem with like a beer of the month or cheese of the month, a lot of these, like you guys mentioned, they get way too expensive. If you look at them, and I've looked at them for gifts for people, you're looking sometimes at $50 a month or so, and that's a lot of money to spend. Like for your kids, if it's sub $15, $10 or so. It's a nice little value, something new that you can get them so that you're keeping their attention and everything. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. In the sports world, they've probably done it a little different. I don't know the exact, but the Portland Timbers did a Scarf of the Month club, so they kept their inventory down. They only ordered so many scarves that they could give out. It was a unique scarf. Each month it was a unique scarf. Limited edition and everything, and
if you're in MLS, you have to do that.
That's perfect.
That's 6 figures of profit.
If you got baseball, if you got enough subscriptions going, you could do a bobblehead of the month and baseball.
A baseball hat of the month, $20 a month.
Yeah. So the Timbers were doing it at their online shop. It was $28 retail price, and these soccer fans, they're gonna like it because it's a unique scarf. They can go to the game and say, oh, I've got my May Scarf of the Month. So, with some of these different teams to see what they could do, whether it's hat,
T-shirt,
anything.
Yeah, and that helps build community because when you see someone else wearing that shirt, you know that you have at least this one thing in common. You're all in the same club. I mean, it's...
And you can run this outside of a season ticket program, like not related to season ticket, and almost have this separate revenue.
It's like doing the supporters clubs.
Whereas a lot of people
of
just
international
throw this crap
teams
in
do
with their season ticket holders, and they could probably just leave it.
No, you're spot on. Just like a lot of the foreign teams we work with have supporters clubs where you might not be purchasing tickets, but you get this packet. Yeah. Like if you're an out of town supporter. And if you're getting that packet or the jerseys like a lot of EPL teams do, you might as well turn that into more of a subscription service.
Yeah, that's true. Overseas, membership is what they call it. It doesn't always come with the ticket. In fact, most of the time it doesn't. So we were working with an AFL team that had membership for your dog. So like a season ticket. They couldn't come, but it's like you pay just to be. Yeah. It's kind of neat.
That works great with English Premier League teams and, like you mentioned, soccer teams with their fans over here in the U.S. that aren't going to go to a game. But I thought we had some really great content today, guys. Pretty interesting. We will not be having a show next week as we're going to be down at NACMA in Orlando. John or Jason, either of you guys want to just give a quick update on that before we sign off?
Well, sure. I mean, NACMA is the place to be if you're in college athletics. So if you're marketing director, athletic director, anybody involved in a university team, you're going to be at NACMA. So
and we are looking forward to announcing the marketing team of the year of college athletics, brought to you by Row 27.
That's true. We do sponsor that. So I'm not looking forward to Orlando because it's crazy hot this time of year, but we'll just stay in the hotel. It'll be nice.
Yeah, if you're going to golf, make sure you're out before 6 a.m.
Yeah, sure. Golf at night.
Yes. Well,
all right.
Anybody that's down there, come find us. We're excited to talk to you. For Jason and John, I'm Max for SBN Live. We'll see you next time.
SBN Sports Business Now.